Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another raid video. I thought to make a video today on my team for one of the tournaments that we have going on, the Fire Night Turn Attack. This is a little bit better than the ones we had in the past because it's not locked into one faction. Specific factions are allowed, and it's pretty good because it's the Dark Elves, the Demon Spawn, the Undead Hordes, and the Night Rev. Okay, those four factions have some really solid champions in there, so you have a much wider choice this time around to pick up some points. And if you want, you can actually push for 6,300 and pick up 40 of the crystals, the prism crystals, and that equals to 2 summons, possibly picking up something as strong as a Kalvalax or even, you know, a Mashal. 3% chance for that, guys. So if this is something that you're looking for, 37% chance for a Seeker and stuff, this is the time, guys. By the way, excuse me if I'm my voice, because I'm a little bit sick. I was worse yesterday. I'm a little bit better today. But over the corrupted here, if we have a proper look at all the heroes that we have available to us, we're not restricted to epic, so there's a lot of options here. And the biggest one is obviously going to be a lore. If you're trying to beat any of the Fire Night, especially the normal difficulty, not the hard ones, a lore is MVP. Okay, MVP. After that, there's some other choices, and if you guys watch the faction war games with Dead with Jedi, you would have noticed many of the teams possible in there. And I just want to say Allure, Magnar is fantastic there for that double hit, big AoE damage coming out of this dude. And you can also use, legendaries if you have them. Prince Kaimar can do like a reset if you have it. In terms of AoEs, you could do Hefrag on 25 on normal. You can use Hefrag for that one. I don't think it's really doable to do hard with just these 4 specific factions, so might as well farm normal 25, which is what I'm going to be doing today. In terms of Undead Hordes, not that many options, if I would say, in terms of just straight up damage. The reason for this is the real damage that comes in from this faction. Maybe it's Rotos. Mashal has an AoE. If he applies, the leech debuff on enemies. Bad Alcazar I like for more beginner accounts. If you've got Bad Alcazar, he can help out with the heal over time and just pushing through to the waves, but on the boss he's kind of weak. So overall, the most benefit you'll have is going to be from Dark Elves. I'm going to say, if you have Lydia already, there's your defense down on weekend. Lydia is just amazing. Mithrala can also work because of an increased attack, and the Hex can help through with the waves. If you have that as an option, Ghostborn is something like a guaranteed defense down. It's pretty solid as well, plus an increased attack from my dude there. I could definitely see Ghostborn instead of Lydia, which is what I'm using for the video. And then if you saw my own teams for the Dark Elves in the Faction Wars games, then I used Luria a ton because I do have her in 6-star Awakening. She's the MVP for today's video, together with Coldheart, obviously, and Allure. In terms of Night Rev, there's some very solid champions in here as well. But I will say that overall, I'm not really using any one of these guys for what I'll be doing today. Okay, so let's get started. Let me show you guys the team. Boom, Fire Night 25. My fastest time is 38 seconds. This will not be one of those fastest times. Okay, I do have Awakenings. Awakenings help a ton with dungeons in terms of damage, especially Awakening 6. That blessing on my Chicaleria, she's so good with that one. 4 turns cooldown, but still very, very strong in terms of damage. Just the 6-star Awakening gives her a 32, I believe it's 32% ignore defense, or 35% because of the level of the enemies. It's 1% per 10 levels, so if they're level 350, you get 35% ignore defense on all of your attacks. It's just insane. So any damage dealer you have with a 6-star Awakening for PvE purposes, this blessing is just huge. Coldheart, it's very obvious to drop down the boss's shields. Allure to keep the boss perimeter down, defense down, weekend. And then we also have Marquez here for the double hitting A2 when there's a weekend already, which we will be applying through Lydia. So let's go into the fight. I'll show you guys the gear in the end, but obviously this is kind of my best gear that I had available, especially on a lure, because I want her to hit hard. So let's see. Boom, look at that, 115,000, 125,000. That's together also with the area bonuses. Those are huge if you want to be pushing. By the way, overall, I think these kind of challenges are cool that raid does for these dungeons, but I feel like lots of players are missing out on the potential to push in these tournaments. So because they're just starting out, they're slowly building their account. So if they had it so that if you have one hero out of these factions specifically, then you would get, let's say, 40% of the points. If you have two heroes, you get 50%. And that goes all the way to 100%, or even better, have it with one hero, get 80%, with two heroes, get 100%. And as you go up in terms of using all these specific champions needed, then it would make sense to give you even more points. So 150% amount of the points. And so that it would give you like a quicker access to all those rewards and tournament points. It's not so much about those people who have like one champion to compete. It's more so about them getting access to the rewards on the right hand side of the tournament brackets and all that. So that's my idea. I'm actually gonna post it over on the content creator channel. I think maybe they'll have hopefully they'll have some response to that. Usually like 90% of the time they ignore us, but 95% of the time actually, but we'll see. So look at this, very solid team. A minute 40 to drop the boss down. I was rambling over as the team was going, but it's a very strong team. MVP is obviously Luria right there, cold hearted with a 1.3, Allure with 600k on her own, and Marquez with a very solid 1.2. So if I didn't use Marquez, I could have used my Magnar. So let's have a try with Magnar. And I think if Magnar had the same blessing as Luria, this would have been a way quicker fight. So what am I doing here? Okay, I think we should be okay. Let's go into the fight. Let's see Magnar. The difference with Magnar if you use him. He's a demon spawn. Still very strong. The gear that I have on him is solid. 52k and 40k. Still very strong, I'm gonna say. I think his cooldown is again 3 turns. So not that bad, but you see it, Luria. Just fantastic. I just can't believe how an Awakening just brings in the real power of a hero. And that's what I like about Awakenings. I don't like that they're very hard to get. So it leaves this part of the game where you can enjoy like a champion that you might have that is a little bit underwhelming. It leaves it to chance basically. Like there's a lot of chance getting a 6-star. And if not, you'll need to do like a big grind to get a 6-star. So finally he does this 2-hit. And we managed to drop the waves, the 2 waves in 53 seconds. Is this unlimited frames? I'm not sure if this is unlimited frames, but kind of feels like it. Let's see. Okay, Magnar going in. There's the defense down. Very solid. We get the weekend as well. Magnar doesn't do much damage on the boss, though, from what I remember. 126,000. I think Marquez, with her single target, could do like 200k, but I might misremember at this point. 60 and 69k, so 130k in total. You round it up. Is this gonna be quicker though? Is it? There's a cold heart. I guess with some refresh accessories, I could get some lucky refreshes and get this down to maybe a minute 20 seconds. That could be fun, but overall, yeah, kind of around the same time. A minute 45, a minute 40 is basically the same time. So this was my team, guys. Let me show you the gear just to have an understanding of what you're gonna need. But obviously, you're gonna use the best gear that you have. You don't need the Hex set that I'm using, the Cursed set. You don't need it. Just use whatever you're using on your Lydia already. Refresh works very well. In terms of masteries, War Master just helps in terms of damage. You do that 6% damage, no, 4% damage to the boss. 6% is Giant Slayer. 7.5%. My God, I forget everything about this game. Wow, this is what happens when you play 2 games at the same time. I play Watcher of Realms as well, and everything is mixed up in my brain at the moment. So Lydia, it just works very well. Obvious must skill up in terms of your champion. We all get it through faction trials once we finish that, but very difficult. So next hero in the list is gonna be my Luria. She has fantastic gear on. This is my best damaging gear I have on Rotos. I gave this to Luria just for this purposes, for just pushing for not only for the video, but I'll complete the tournament as well. How am I gonna go for the extra points? I'll see. Probably not, but I'll have to think about it. And then I'm just gonna go for the points needed to pick up the 4-star soul for my Wukong. Okay. Next up, let's have a look at Magnar's gear. Pretty solid as well. 67,000 HP. Not the best at all. 180 speed, 255 crit damage. Not even, can't even compare to what Luria has, honestly. And then if we go down the list a little bit, here's my Cold Heart. Very strong, 300 speed, 291, but I get a little bit of extra stats through the area bonuses. So 300 speed, 273 crit damage. Even the accuracy goes up a ton, 308 accuracy through that. And then I have Marquez with barely any speed, 156, 260 crit damage, 4.6k defense. She did get showcased as well in that one. I should have leveled up the shield, by the way. Gives me more defense. That's more damage for Marquez. And then I think is that everybody? I didn't show Allure. Honestly, I don't need to show Allure. If you guys don't know how to gear up Allure, this will be a good pointer for you guys. 100% crit rate is what you need. Good speed, good accuracy to land it. In general, you need about 350 for everything in the game at the moment, except for Iron Twins, Sand Devil, Phantom Shogun. You need like 600 accuracy. But Allure, for those three, she's basically useless. So everything else, 350. You're right on where it's required. If you have some bonuses left and right, like I have, it jumps up to 400, but it's fine. Crit damage is nice to have, but not required, and damage. You just need her for the control, really. And that's it. She manages to control the boss fully on her own. Cold Heart is an added benefit in terms of control. She just does that big Heart Seeker and takes out that like big chunk of the boss's health. 10% limited because of what the bosses have. This passive here, guys. Almighty Strength, you cannot do more than 10% damage unless you are not a champion like a Cold Heart that does max HP damage. If you don't do max HP, you can do more than 10% of the boss's health, but that is very difficult to do. Anyway, guys, this was the video. Thank you all. If this was helpful, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you all. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.